This man's remarks at last night's city council meeting now have him under a police investigation. He told the city council and the crowd that he routinely molested children and has never been arrested. Those remarks came as people were giving their views on proposals to change the city's human rights ordinance to specifically ban discrimination against gays, lesbians, and transsexuals.
Now the News 4 Jax investigators have been looking into the man's past and present life. Roy Bay, seen here in a mugshot from a previous traffic arrest, spoke out during public comments before the council and shocked everyone who heard him last night. News 4 Jax investigator Jim Piggott joins us live from City Hall now with what he's learned about Bay. Jim.
You know, Roy Bay, we just received a police report where they had just begun their investigation looking into him, said he was here to talk about the pedophile lifestyle here. Well, when he did that last night at the city council meeting, he basically stopped the meeting. He was telling them that he was against the HRO, the changes that they want to make in that ordinance, because he says homosexuals don't need extra protection. But he then went on to say that he had molested children for practically all of his life in restrooms. He kind of shocked the crowd when he was saying that, and he left without any problems. So we went to find out more about him today. Here's what we found. Roy Bay was one of many speakers last night, but what he said is still causing a lot of reaction. He admits to molesting children in restrooms.
I spent most of my life sexually assaulting kids. Never went to jail. Because why? Kids believe me that, hey, this is you're all right, son. This is not false. Okay? This happens in the homosexual lifestyle.
Bay was able to walk out of the meeting and went home in a church van with others. So we did some questioning of our own. During the meeting, he only gave his name and not his address, which is required, but he was still allowed to speak. Also, we looked up his criminal record and found that he had been arrested several times over the past years for traffic violations, the latest in 2014. And that led us to this small house on the west side of Jacksonville, on property owned by the church, the Evangel Temple. He was not there. We also found records that indicated he had married at the church in 2006. We talked to the pastor, Gary Wiggins, today about Bay. He says that he had worked at the church for several years as a maintenance man, but that job ended in September. He and his wife still live on the property. Wiggins says he was shocked about what was said last night.
We had no knowledge of his claims he made before the city council last night. In response to his claims, the church is taking appropriate actions to safeguard the families and children of our congregation. We encourage and want the police to do a full investigation, serving justice as appropriate.
JSO says they are investigating. We asked our crime and safety analyst, Gil Smith, about what they can actually do. He says at this time there's no evidence of crime, so no arrests can be made.
They would probably either pull him aside or get his information and write an information report, and then probably have it forwarded to either sex crimes or to maybe even the offender tracking unit also, just in case he is someone that is being tracked by JSO.
The church says detectives have been on site, but they're taking their own steps to protect the congregation.
Part of that is going to be restricting any contact, possible contact with children and with young people. He will be allowed to come to the church services and seated in an appropriate spot, which will be watched by our security.
Both sides were discussing the HRO issue at the meeting last night. Some say that Roy Bay was a plant there to interrupt an important issue.
I'm going to say that it's a real common tactic of those that oppose LGBT rights to try and link together people who are LGBT with sex crimes and pedophilia. It's been a tactic that they've tried for decades. It's unacceptable. It's just vile and disgusting.
And now the church pastor is telling us that's not what they did. They said he wasn't a plan. In fact, they said had they known he was going to speak, they wouldn't have told him not to speak. And they would have said, don't speak at this time. Again, they are holding services tonight, and they plan to bring this up to the congregation. The HRO bill, it still will be discussed here with City Council, and they're due to take action on it sometime this year. We're live at City Hall. Jim Piggott, Channel 4, the local station.